at you again. Another critical dump episode. It's the second one running. So let's go ahead and go around the table. So let's introduce everybody.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Eric Davila.
So boring. But anyways. So we're coming at you again, kind of talk about some things that's been going on in the world. We've been having a lot of civil unrest lately. Up here in Dallas, the time where we are, there was a shooting this past weekend. Actually, past week.
Yeah.
A couple brothers that went down, the police shooting. So everything's just in disarray right now. We'll go ahead and go around the table, see what everybody else thinks about it. So, Alicia, you want to go ahead and put your thoughts out there real quick?
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm Alicia. Um, as far as my thoughts about what's going on with um everything, particularly speaking on the Black Lives Matter movement, and then the shooting that happened here in Dallas this past week. My feelings are in between. I I I have mixed emotions about it because I understand why he was so frustrated, but I don't condone violence. I don't condone fighting fire with fire. Eventually, everything's going to be on fire. Everything is going to be ruined if it just keeps going on. It'll keep burning and burning till there's nothing left, and there's just devastation afterwards. So you have to remediate the problem, and fighting a fire with fire is redundant. It's stupid. If you want to be taken serious, it's stupid. Eric?
Earlier today, we were speaking to police officers like Mr. Cashwood and
Williams.
This is amazing, y'all.
we were getting a bit of their input on what their feelings on the situation is for the Dallas shooting. And these situations are really very complicated matters that is a little bit more bigger than just us choosing one side or the other. And in part, like some people think that the Black Lives Matter movement is directly responsible for the situation that came to pass. And I don't necessarily think that that's really the case. I think that in part it was exploited of an opportunity that came up where someone just decided that they were just going to take advantage of it by taking their anger out on the police officers. And I don't really agree with it because you can't really just hold all these cops accountable for the actions of a few select individuals amongst thousands of people. So, right now, I just think that people need to take a step back and just realize that some of these people, they're human beings. And regardless of the shield, they're human beings, and they're going to make mistakes. It's just how it's going to go down. But like for those cats out there, those police officers, those bad apples, we need to find a way to get them off the force.
Oh, those are all compelling thoughts. Man, it boils down to a lot of different things because one, it is hard to decipher on who's good, who's bad, which is kind of the situation that we also had. So in the end, the same method is being used on both sides, but sometimes one side is more empathetic than the other. So for instance, they'll say, okay, all cops can be bad, so therefore we shouldn't attack them. And I get that. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's not good. But we have ran into situations where some will say, okay, for instance, we'll say this is stopping of Philando Castile. Of course, they came out with the dispatch call. Authentication, I think, is still up in question, but the officer that did stop him stated that he was going to stop him because he fit the description due to his wide nose set. So with that already being said, he was basing it, his whole criteria for stopping was based on stereotypes. So I'm going to quote Zoe Williams on this one. He was like, I'm posing a question. In the end, or in some aspect, do law enforcement police based on the stereotypes of people that they've heard versus actual case by case basis?
Yeah. Sometimes that is the case. I mean, they already coming into the force with their preconceived notions of what their reality are. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, I mean, they should temper those. Their reaction to what they believe that to be the case. Because sometimes they can be wrong, and they don't want to take it. I mean, you don't want to take adverse reaction on just based on some broad generalizations of what you may think of somebody because of maybe their color of their skin, or maybe to get a more broader sense like their religious background. So you sometimes want to take a step back to sort of evaluate who they are for a person, because you don't really know. Like even if you are part of the Black Lives Matter movement, like some people have this sort of spin on what their motive is for becoming part of this movement. They may have different reasons for being a part of that movement, and what agenda they're trying to pull to may be different than what other people are trying to pull to. So you don't really want to just lump them all together. You want to at least assess them as individuals as opposed to as a group.
Yeah. Alicia, you want to add in on that?
Well, in my opinion, I'm gonna get into detail here. I'm gonna talk for a little minute.
Girl, spit that rhymes, bitches.
I think that media, social media in particular, find ways to spin a half truth. Like he brought a half truth up earlier.
She properly quoted me this time.
They find ways to take apart that little piece and make a story of disproportionate levels. So, prime example, I'm sitting on my couch, I look at my phone, and I see 2 people have been shot, two officers down in downtown Dallas. I'm like, God damn, what the fuck, what's going on? So I go, to the major media outlets as CNN, and I start flipping through channels and trying to find like what's going on. As things are progressing and it gets more serious, the first thing the media says is gunfire broke out at a Black Lives Matter protest. They never bothered to clarify that Black Lives Matter was not a part of that shooting. The shooter was not in that group, even though countless of witnesses got on air and said, including the police chief, Black Lives Matter are not responsible. The gunman acted alone. Yet, the first suspect they show is an armed black man. And he's not even the correct suspect. So you get, the first image you get in your head is, hey, there's a Black Lives Matter protest. There's a shooter. Cops are down. Some black son of a bitch must have shot a cop. That's the exact conclusion you get based off what they give to you right away. And it takes them hours to clean their stories up and put the correct info out. So within 5 seconds, someone can screenshot, misquote, and then on the air, you get a Tommy Lauren taking all of these tweets as facts. And then she's spewing to her broad audience a bunch of false or half truths. So you get these people who are now furious, but she's already said it, so she can't take it back. And it's already out there. It's everybody has taken this one person's word for God, for truth, for Bible, for fact. So now you have people blaming Black Lives Matter. And I'm sitting here constantly telling you they were not responsible. But can you not tell me that they have not incited violence? Well, can you not tell me that policemen don't kill people? It happens. You can't tell me that it doesn't.
Oh, man. I mean, honestly, in the end, it really goes back to no one is really willing to look outside themselves for the truth, or whatever you want to call truth, because truth is, you never know. Honestly, the world's full of a lot of half truths when you think about it. We'll tell part of the story to sell a narrative, but in the end, that's what it is. Because I do also have questions like, maybe this is a conspiracy theorist in me, but it's like, doesn't it seem? I'm just saying, doesn't it seem like it's coincidental that as soon as 2 Black guys get shot, and outrages happen, the day after there's a mass shooting with cops?
Yeah, the people are always constructing conspiracy theories. If this shit would have happened like 2 weeks later, it'd have been like, oh, it's a fucking conspiracy. It's like people are just trying to find ways to link 2 completely separate events together. I should say it's unfortunate that you had shooting,
and then a mass
oh
shooting.
shit.
Yeah,
And you had another shooting.
And let me clarify, because I was like, no one should ever have to lose their lives. But I think I brought this up to you before. It's like, if everything they stated was true, the motivation, whatever, the voice of the voices eventually will do whatever it takes to get your attention. So if I'm screaming to you, say, hey man, look, there's something going on. This ain't right. This isn't right.
The voice of the voices?
The voice of the voices. That's right. That's actually a track by my man Immortal Technique. But what it means is that what I mean by the voice of the voices is that the people who are screaming for you to pay attention to what's going on, but it's falling on deaf ears. There's nothing really wrong. You're blowing things out of proportion, so on and so forth. So it's like, for instance, like if Alicia were to come to me and say, hey, look, Quentin, you're not doing this, or hey, I need you to do this, or hey, blah, 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 but I keep ignoring her. Girl, you all right. Don't worry about it. Eventually, she's going to say, okay, I can show you better than I can tell you then.
Yeah.
And that's usually the initial response, and it shouldn't get to that point. But like I said, if everything that they stated to be true, because like I said, it's still up in the air because you blew the man up, but there's no structural damage, and all of a sudden now we can't. First there's 4 people, now this is 1. It's a lot of jumbled up information, so I don't know.
But I mean, the only thing we can confirm is that somebody
was shooting.
Quite a few cops got hurt.
So some people were shooting, and people ended up getting dead. What happened or who did it, I don't know.
I mean, we have a suspect. But,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying is that
dead man tell no tales.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that a lot of people will do what they feel will get the attention that is necessary. So, okay, you don't hear me now, then maybe if I take action to my own hands, now you'll take me serious.
I just think that I mean, that's just fucked up. That's just irresponsible on that dude's part, because he can protect. See, like, I feel like this situation was, it was sort of an unavoidable event to come up because you already had some feelings kind of building up. And when these shootings just happen at the same time, it's just like that. But at the same time, though, this had to have been a planned event already before these shootings even took place because this dude just showed up and just started sniping fools.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even before this would have happened, I would imagine that the situation would have come to pass no matter what.
That's what I was saying. It's like it's too. Was this scheduled? Was that rally actually a scheduled thing where they're like, "Hey, show up here"?
It was scheduled a few hours before. That was it.
Okay, so unless this,
like,
but then again,
a few hours, maybe 24 hours in advance. That was it.
Was it scheduled through social media?
I mean,
because
according to facts, this is what the police, not facts, but according to the police chief in particular, he probably got the information from social media.
Mm-hmm.
He quoted, he'd been training for that.
Okay.
Almost as if he knew someday he would have to do something like this. That's pretty bad.
I'm gonna pose this question though. If he tracked it through social media, but then no one can find his social media, so I'm guessing the theory is that he deleted it before all this stuff went down.
But the
if he didn't have it,
you cannot delete a Facebook.
Okay, yeah, that's true. You can only deactivate it.
So you can only deactivate it. It's up to Facebook to delete it. You have to call them and ask them to delete it.
So the question I have is, if you can't delete your Facebook and you can only deactivate it, and for some reason no one can find the Facebook based on the name that was provided, but then he may have seen it based on social media, what's really going on? I mean, that's the question I have, because it seems like where I brought it back to convenience. Mm-hmm. It seems that, okay, in order to see that there's going to be a rally on this day, social media is the biggest way to do it, unless they somehow hit it old school and start just calling up random numbers. Hey, meet me here, which I doubt happened. So I'm sure that based on their Facebook page for the Dallas region was saying, hey, rally here downtown at this time, which means he would either had to seen it or you either via his social media or someone close to him social media in order to be down there at the time that, and then he had to know that cops would be there at the time as well. Wouldn't he? In order to shoot at cops, you had to know that cops were going to have to be there at some point in time.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, though, it's pretty much.
Well, it's not that of course there's going to be cops. Black people are gathering. I mean, I'm just gonna.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I'm just gonna. Honest. I'm gonna keep it real. Everybody wants to, you know, praise Donald Trump for his honestness. I'm gonna be honest. The police were there not only for protection of the protesters.
DTs, baby, that's what I'm talking about.
But I'm not talking about y'all praising him. But people in general, not people in general, but his minions believe his word to be God. So I have to, you know, they love the fact that he keeps it real. So I have to
Build that wall.
Build that wall is the number one single at Trump University.
Don't take your ass to school.
Hey, DT's the number one album, baby. That's what we're gonna get it set up. I mean, but I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
Anywho, like I was saying, the police were there to protect everyone, possibly from against themselves, probably because people felt unsafe that a bunch of Black people were gathering in protests of unjust killings. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, and I have a right to have that opinion.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is.
I'm not saying that just to be a bitch about it. I'm saying that because look at all the Black activist groups that have been dismantled, that have been assassinated. Look at all of that. Anytime a cause comes to great numbers, they have to label us a terrorist group. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hop back to what they were talking, or what I watched the video of the Black Panthers. How some people are saying that some people believe, I actually have classmates that are white that believe the Black Panthers were a terrorist group that were dismantled by the FBI. That's what they told y'all. But remember when we were talking about half truths?
Amen.
They said they were a terrorist group, yet the KKK can reform and become a political group. But the moment the Black Panthers, the new Black Panther Party formed, you all wanted to throw us to the wolves. You didn't want to hear anything we had to say.
Hey man, I tell everybody refer to the assassination of Fred Hampton. That book is actually out, so if anybody want to check it out. But go ahead, baby. That's all I have to say on that.
No, but
well, I don't necessarily think it's a matter of cops gathering together just purely based on their race. But when you do have a bunch of people gathering together for a very controversial topic, it can get a little bit unrest.
Yeah. See, but let me.
Even though some of them, I would think yes.
Let me break that down to you though.
Break it down, sister.
Black Lives Matter meets a riot breaks out. The whole organization is deemed irrelevant. Is deemed not creditworthy. Now, that's not because you think that they are not. Doesn't mean that it's not being spewed across the web. They're being told that we're the cause of all the riots.
Mm-hmm. There's a petition.
There's a particular riot.
There's actually a petition.
No. Let me finish.
I was going to say this one
before I lose track.
Okay, go ahead.
Before I lose track.
Do your thing, man.
They are saying not just this, but anytime Black people gather in for the Black Lives Matter cause, there's controversy. But why? The KKK can go meet and nobody bat an eye. We speak on it. We're just being sensitive. We can't speak on anything. I'm sitting here telling you that people are sitting there saying, you may not think that way, but other people are being told that this group, their creditworthiness is gone now. People don't give a damn about the movement. I'm reading the comments. I'm reading that people lost all respect, all because the media cannot correct what they've already done. How we can't tell the truth now. This story is already gone. This story gets us money. So if I can tell the world that when Black people gather together, there's riots, there's looting, there's whatever, then they can discredit that organization. So it loses its momentum. It loses its credibility with the public. You feel me? That's why he was saying some people believe it to be conspiracy because two Black for no particular reason. And a day later, after the second shooting, I woke up and I said something is gonna happen. People they're unrestful. They were done. They were tired of being ignored. And lo and behold, before I go to bed, I see a shootout breaks out downtown. Not really a shootout. He was just shooting at them. It was an ambush.
It seemed as if he was there. I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know.
But what I'm saying is I have a hard time for people who still discredit the movement. I see what the media may be telling them, but we all really need to stick together. Don't go in blindly. Know that in anything that you may be becoming part of, whether it's football, basketball, debate, drama, there's gonna be that person that is not that good at it. That's not that good at it. And they may not be particularly that good at the job that you're at. But that job itself, your job, is fine. I don't know if you follow me on that one. Did you follow me?
No, I'm following you, sister.
You following
me?
Sure.
Girl. You getting all gospel up in there. So like, yeah.
Hey,
but I mean, defamation. I mean, that's not really exclusive to our group. I mean, shit. Shit. The moment that Obama became president, they've been trying to defame that nigga. But it's just,
man. When I say most disrespected president, and I'm not even the biggest Obama fan, but I do feel he is the most disrespected president in history. He's the only dude that's referred to as Mr. Obama and not president. I mean, a lot of people, you take that for what it's worth, but I mean, you got to just kind of put that in context. But
I mean, apart from some of my disagreements on his policies.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's.
He is very good at his job, but I don't think that, regardless of what the media says about it, if you really think about the KKK, I mean, you don't really have that many people who really know what the fuck the KKK is. I mean, they don't really have as much traction as they used to be.
Not as much, but they do still exist.
They don't have as much publicity as they used to have.
No,
their numbers are still strong and growing.
I mean, because you can look at it like they're now trying to rebrand themselves as a political group, quote unquote.
They rebranded themselves as a political group. That's the only reason why they are still active.
Hey, lady, I got this. Let me. Okay.
But I mean, that's the sort of thing about like Black Lives Matter. Like, it's a movement. It's the same. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's gonna continue on.
Yeah.
I mean, when you threw out Black Lives Matter, like just the name alone drew controversy alone. They were trying to just throw that shit down before at the beginning.
It's actually funny,
even I did,
because they're actually now. I think the petition was actually entered earlier this week, but they're trying to petition the U.S. government to view them as a terrorist organization. And I'm like, don't terrorist organizations actually have to terrorize people? Terrorists terrorize, they're derivatives of each other.
Yeah. So
the thing is they will have to actually go through and terrorizing people. But last time I checked, there really weren't a lot of killings talking about, hey, Black Lives Matter, bitch.
There were no killings.
There weren't. But the thing
Black Lives Matter.
The fact that you have women like Tommy Lauren, or whatever she goes by, who would then try to say, oh, the Black Panther movie was a terrorist organization who can be applicable to the KKK, which is not true. You're now trying to say that, because when you look at the history behind the KKK, was threatening people when it came to political moves. Oh, people who went to go vote, you're only going to vote this. In that case, also in other cases, we're going to keep you from voting here. Mm-hmm. Oh, you come in our neighborhood, we're going to run you out. We're going to do lynch mobs. We're going to do all these different things. You can't name any kind of movement that the Black Panthers did that was the equivalent. But still, they will label them as such because that's the context we want to put it in. We want to make them synonymous, as in like, hey, yeah, see, look, Black people did this as well. Even though Black Panthers actually just protected their neighborhood. They just exercised their right to say, hey, look, you know what? If you're not going to treat us with equal respect, we going to police you. We going to make sure if you come in our neighborhood, you're going to do what's what. You're not going to go in here and handle anybody that you want to handle in any way. If I see you roughing somebody up, that's going to have to cease. And I'm not going to say Black Lives Matter is on the same scale because not at all. I'm not even going to say that.
No.
But it does come back that the Black Panther movie was strategically dismantled by the United States government. So you got to start digging deeper and saying, well, why did the FBI find it that they had to make this their priority to dismantle this group using COINTELPRO?
Which, I think that they did actually publish those documents publicly. So I would like to dig on that on the next time that we get together and talk. It'll be a very interesting topic.
Yeah. It's like man, because like I said, Black Lives Matter. Okay, in my opinion, somebody brought this up. I can't remember, so I can't quote them properly. But I feel that if it did matter, it wouldn't exist. If people felt like their lives really did matter just as much as others, nobody would have came out with Black Lives Matter hashtag or whatever. Because if you feel like you were judged on an equal scale, no, it wouldn't come up because hey man, I don't really have a merit to be able to say my life don't matter, even though it really does. But I think that the people who want to sit there and say, oh, well, all lives matter, well, no shit. I mean, that really wasn't in question. But it's like, I want my life to matter just as much as yours. And of course, I can't equate every last police officer in that, because even based on the conversation we had earlier with the guys, yeah, everybody's going to judge it differently. They are just human, but there is a situation where you, as the human, have to make proper judgment. And if you don't, that's on you in the end, and you're gonna have to be faced with the consequences. But I think that's where this is streamed from, is that when these cops do make human mistakes, they don't have to deal with the consequences, and they're given a little pass based on their occupation.
I concur. I'll elaborate a little bit more.
I don't know if they're given a pass based on their occupation, but I do agree with you that they're given a pass. It's sort of weird.
Well, what I mean by occupation is the fact, since they joined the fraternity of police officers, we almost hold them to an extent infallible, almost like motherhood.
We're not
going to talk about OG. Nah, we can't bring up OG Hillary.
Get away with it.
Because
Get away with it.
We're going to talk about that guys. This topic right there.
Figure out how OG can beat any case, goddamn. Anyway,
even when the nigga say that bitch did wrong,
how cold do you have to be to where the FBI director said, "Hey,
we fucked up"?
Look, yeah, in any other case it would be this, but this is
Hillary. I can't do that.
But this is her. We got no, we can't do that.
Every time he put Hillary in there, he like, no, man. She, I don't know. I really don't know. I want to answer a hypothetical, to paraphrase. I want to answer a hypothetical situation. Okay, bullshit.
Yes, but I'm going to elaborate more.
I really want to just like, I have a lot of, I don't know if I want to call it faith, but I know that a lot of people try very hard, man, to be just the best person that they can be, man. But damn, these motherfucking niggas, man, they just some corrupt ass people sometimes, man. I mean, I love them.
I mean, I'll pose this question to everybody. If you knew that, regardless of your wrongdoing and somehow, some way, you would get a pass, are you inclined to do what is right all the time?
My thing, like, my bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
Like I said, I was going to elaborate, but they just wouldn't let me talk.
So you're going to just ignore my question?
You don't have to say.
That's an open-ended question that they can answer for themselves inside of their own head and do their own research.
Look, you're here as a commentary to put context to the questions that I asked, woman.
Okay, anyway.
I didn't go that far.
Excuse me. Like I was going to say, to elaborate more on what he was saying is,
oh, so you get the floor and you drop the ball.
Because I'm saying hello to the baby. Hey.
Now, where'd you leave my phone? Just give me
Okay. Let me bring the question back here. Eric, do you remember the question, sir?
Fuck no. What's the question?
If I'm in a situation,
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay. Go ahead. Just put it out. Just get it out there.
No. When he had ended earlier, when he was talking about humanizing police, I did a Facebook live feed, and on that feed, I talked about how people want us to humanize the police. You want us to see them as humans, yet you want us to see them as heroes as well. Okay? I understand why they want us to see that and be that. Now, with them being humanized, humans make mistakes. We are told from the time we are 2 years old, it's okay. People make mistakes. We are taught that we own up for those mistakes and we make a change to better ourselves, to better the situation, so we no longer find ourselves in that same situation. So we are constantly not having to answer for our crimes, for the not even crimes but mistakes. If we are not having to answer for our mistakes, we will continue to make them. We will start to figure out more things that we can do and get away with. He asked if you are going to, if you know you can get away with it, will you do it? The answer is yes, of course. If you can get away with getting free gas for the rest of your life, wouldn't you do it? You would do it. Oops. If you could get away with stealing your whole Thanksgiving dinner without having to pay for it, you probably would. If you could get away with doing a crime, you would. If you had the money to pay off that particular sentence, you would. These are privileges. That's the kid. But these are privileges. So, what? Oh, yeah, I seen it. It's a black man with a shirt that says,
Damn, man. But, oh, man.
But all I'm saying is, if you all call for us to humanize them, humans make mistakes. Everyday humans pay for their mistakes. You want us to humanize them, but then give them a pass when they make a mistake. No, you don't give them a pass. You make them own up for that mistake. You make them better themselves so they don't make that same mistake. And if they are a bigot or a racist, you fire them. You don't give them paid administrative leave while you investigate. Because we all know that means there will be no charges. They will get off with it. And the name of the person that was just murdered will be just another hashtag in the past. I'm done.
Well, I'll go ahead and elaborate on that, but it's okay.
Go sit down.
This is the special guest, Raylan.
Yeah.
All right, go have a seat, baby. But it is that I'll elaborate on the conversation we had earlier, and like my man that I talked to earlier, he was a police officer, and he was like, "There's no place for any kind of cop who is susceptible to corruption." And I understand that the environment can potentially bring that about, but it is in the end up to the department to try to investigate. Because if you know that somebody does have I guess you could say, suspect thoughts about certain groups or certain people that they police, it will be difficult in order to do your job. Because I look at it like, if you can't relate to the individual, can you really police them? Can you really correct them? If it's can you? I mean, what do you think?
Go lay down. You done eating?
If I don't know anything about you,
Go lay down.
where you come from, where you been, or where you're going, or your conditions, can I honestly police you for the better? I start over with Eric. See what you think.
That's a very in-depth question, sir. I have to think about that.
All right, Lisa, you got anything to say on that?
Of course I do. I always have something to say.
Of course you do. You're a woman. Sexism.
But what I have to add is, the question is, do I feel that an individual who cannot relate to me, can they correctly police me? And I mean, my personal opinion, no. In the same sense, someone who cannot relate to my struggle right now, being Black in America, cannot tell me how I should be feeling when Black people are the ones being shot down and their murderers are getting off. So therefore, you don't have a say-so in how I feel. You can't feel what I feel. So you cannot relate to that. If you are not committed to a Black man, you cannot know, or if you're not a Black man, or you don't know enough Black men, you don't know what they have to go through being Black men in America in 2016 at the moment. You don't know the worry that their family would have if they call and say, I've been pulled over. Because that means that policeman, not saying that that particular policeman is racist, but if he is one of the corrupt ones that keeps getting off and just moves departments, and he shoots and kills my husband, then I have to sit here and try and defend his name. How is that fair?
I will put it like this. Like I said, I always want to draw parallels to everything. So the question I would have, let's start back in grade school. When we go back to history class, sociology, and things like that, we learn about great kings, from Europe, the colonization of the Americas, so on and so forth. So the question that I will have is that we don't really learn anything really positive or uplifting about ourselves. So that itself also creates a stereotype of our group. And the only reason I say our group, because you're halfway there, even though you're half. But only reason I say that is, like, if I only know negative things about an individual, all I know is you derive from quote unquote slavery, even though it's not the entire story, but that's the only story we're telling. Mm-hmm. So then when people grow up with that knowledge and we then become adults, right, can you really respect someone who only came from quote unquote captivity?
Probably. To answer your question from earlier, can you correct someone when they've made a mistake if you can't relate to them? It kind of depends on what we're talking about. Now, some of the struggles in our Black community are not really that exclusive to us, besides for some of us we like to think that they are.
Give us an example of that.
For some people, they may think that simply because we live in a hood that that are struggles in the hood or in an area may think that some of the struggles are exclusive to us just because of where we actually live. But also, I don't think that, you know, not only just African Americans live there, but also some whites, Latinos also live in those neighborhoods as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, the struggle isn't really really that exclusive, but it's on a case by case basis of what we're talking about. That if there's a understanding of why something is wrong, and it's thoroughly explained why. I mean, if the person decides that he just still wants to engage in the activity after the fact, whether it's him or her, I mean, that's on them, because it may be that their circumstances may put them in a predicament where they don't necessarily care. Like he could be like a certain somebody that I know who's just like so deep in the dope game, who that's pretty much all he knows. And there's pretty much the only thing that can really just bring him out of it is just him come to a realization on his own that, hey, I got to get the fuck up out of here. But other than that, there's not very much I can do.
I think that's dabbing more in the concept of, because there is a point in human psychology where if an individual feels that if they tried their hardest, but there is no gain and they cannot get out of a certain circumstance or any type of situation, then yes, they will just accept what's going on. So I mean, there are multiple different situations, and also, you know, kind of what you brought up, you know, has a lot to deal with. And a buddy of mine brought this situation up as well because he grew up kind of like impoverished as well, and he was a white individual. But I told him, I was like, classism and racism can look very, very similar, and especially with the individual that's not really understanding the situation, they look pretty much the same. But I always say that for those individuals who did grow up impoverished, they can improve their situation based on income to where they can be viewed as, I guess you say, equals to the people who are, I guess you say, snooty or snobby or however you want to throw it out there. Mm-hmm. But there is a situation where, like, even with us, even if we gain a lot of money, they still look at, because I mean, it was multiple times where you look at, of course, they were just football players, but I bring up like Richard Sherman and or Marshawn Lynch. When you looked at people and commented on like stories that involved them, and it was kind of like negative where they just didn't want to cooperate with, let's say, the media, they were like, well, these niggas should realize the situation, the opportunity they have. It's funny because I was like, no matter what, I think even Richard Pryor said this, like, regardless of how much money you got, you still a nigga. Regardless of how you think you are, you think you're better. OJ figured it out too, because I mean, at one point, OJ was on top of the world till they thought he killed Nicole, and he was just another black dude on trial. I mean, you gotta put it like that.
But I was going to elaborate more on how you described it at first. When there's that opportunity, like I said, I was talking earlier, and I was telling people that opportunity in the hood is different from opportunity and growing up in the suburbs. So face value, they're telling you that even though I live in the hood, I have the same opportunity as him who lives in the suburbs. Now, this is what they're telling you all. And if Barack Obama is their president, they can be something too. If Oprah can go from poor little black girl to billionaire, they can too. But I'm gonna try to illustrate it like a video that circulated, I believe was taken down because people took offense to it. Yeah. Being a black person in America is not easy. And I'll demonstrate it with these. These One's a white person, one is a black person. Seemingly, they start off as the same opportunities, supposedly. Supposedly, they have the same opportunities, okay? But the obstacles the white person has is minimal compared to the black person. The white person has this thing called privilege. So government programs.
You gotta define privilege because you got a lot of people who go like, what do you mean by privilege?
Privilege meaning I'm gonna, like I said, I'm keep it real, white privilege. Your privilege is you are white. That's it. You were born white. You're privileged. You can do whatever. You're privileged. You have the same opportunity as anybody else because you are white. Now, being black, like I said, it's different. It's different. It looks the same. We're told that we're all the same inside, but the way they treat us is totally different. There's the white man who can run and he can achieve and do whatever. And like I said, the obstacles are very, very minimal. But a black person wants to do better. First, he's already impoverished. His mother is a result of the crack epidemic. And he's born in the hood. This is what he knows. Yeah. Yes.
What we're talking about is the introduction of crack cocaine into the inner city areas, based on, especially if you hear a little bit more on the FBI, they actually had a lot to do with it during the Reagan administration.
Lead on, woman.
Okay.
Continue.
But he's born in the hood. But he can get out. He can get out, right? No. Because as soon as he tries to get out, he can't get a job. Who's gonna hire a black man from the hood besides a fast food restaurant and a local car wash? That's it. That's it. Him being from the hood, his privilege doesn't get him daddy's money. It doesn't get him daddy's connections. Because daddy is no longer in the hood.
Sexual. Daddy's money. Daddy.
No. Anyway, being black, born in the hood to a single mother who's on welfare, there is no daddy there. Daddy has been kicked out. Daddy can't even be around. He can't. That in order for her to get her housing and her welfare and all of her government assistance, he can't be there. Her husband has to go. He's cast aside. He's been told by society he's a deadbeat. He doesn't do what he needs to do. When in all actuality, she can't let him in the house because she's gonna lose all of her benefits. And when as you see the black man and he's going, but dad already hit him. He can't see his kids. He can't do none of that. Now, you take in needing to make fast money because baby mama won't let me see my kids because you all gave her assistance and told her I can't be around. So I have to make fast money. How I'm gonna do that? I'm gonna start dealing drugs. I'm just gonna deal drugs. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it out the hood. That's the mentality of a real drug dealer. They want to make it out the hood, but they can't because they get hemmed up by the cops. And they go to jail and they spend 5 to 10 years behind bars over drugs. They get out and they go try to get a job because baby mama still need the money. Can't find the job now. Wanna know why? He got a background. He's a felon. How's he gonna get a job now? Baby mama need the money. She need the money to I'm gonna go right back to dealing drugs. I got food on my table when I deal drugs. Answer to the man. I got money, and nobody looks because I'm my own boss.
My lady. Oh, you go on a tangent.
Huh?
I feel you, sister.
I'm just saying.
Come on, bro. You can't do that.
But that is a true, and a lot of people don't want to admit it. You're gonna sit there and try to shoot. Opportunities are not there. A black man fucked up one good, and that black man's life is over. Not the same. You cannot tell me that it's the same for a white man.
I mean, there are differences. I mean, because you can look at. I mean, I've met like different dudes who already had like this type of background, or hey, I got caught doing this, or hey, I had drug charges, this and that, and they were, it didn't really derail them to an extent, and it all depends on where you're from, because like especially down in Beaumont area, Gold Triangle area, you got a lot of dudes, especially the ones working in the plant, longer than all of ours combined. Mm-hmm. But there is later, it all goes down to the relatability. So if a black dude does have a record, he's feeding into the stereotype that they're already perceiving about him. Also based on how media coverage is and how people's perceptions, they'll automatically assume that the only reason he committed the crime because he was doing it for nefarious reasons and he's just a bad dude. But sometimes, and of course I do, but sometimes when it's the other way, or they can then get a level of empathy. And I think I brought this up. It's like, is there empathy based on who committed the crime? Can I see enough to where I can say, you know what? I think I can look past what they have done because of the situation that they were brought about. And then if I get another, well, so sad you did it. Really? So I did. Stop. I'm gonna use like I'll quote Zoe again. Zoe Williams. It all boils down to the relationships with each other, because if I can't relate to, which is the root to relationship, then it's going to be hard to develop a relationship with myself as you. If I can't see myself in your shoes, then no, I can't really think about what it is that you go through. No, I can you a pass because you did X crime before. So yes, I will hold you to a different accountability versus someone that I, as a younger me, or see as myself. And we do it as well. I mean, that's like when I see brothers, I say, man, I feel like this. It does seem like sometimes you may have experienced it way in or not, but sometimes with certain subjects, like, okay, I see what he's talking about, but I'm not gonna go fully reception. A certain thing he may pick certain stereotype that I'm trying to avoid. So I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna take a step back, and I'm gonna just hear him out, and I'll talk around the subject and talking fully about it. Example? For example, is the things that's currently going on. So, like, if a lot of us, if we were,
okay, no. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. No, I would agree. Yeah, okay, yeah. I had you talking about like the Black Lives Matter, like the situation such as that. Yeah, her point that she was. But hey, we're not gonna touch on that. But I think that I know what she's talking about, though. Now, I can't control the circumstances that a person is actually kids born into wealth. Now, aside from that, it helps to expedite that it's success. Like, hey, because I got access to all these such and such may not get access to. Then okay, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily conflate two, but there are also. I'm not naive to it that they could take advantage of, and I don't think really anybody should really hold that against them. That hey, they got to take advantage of opportunity because like some of these know that this shit is happening. They're just completely naive to something.
Negativity is prevalent, but in a situation would I write it off completely? Because you also get a lot of people who would be like, they're so naive that exists. So no, don't look into the matter. I'm just going to say I don't agree with what you're stating. So that we're going into is that instead of saying their opinion, a real intellect will be like, okay, I see, or kind of like we go over what the Kabbalion says is like, I can't accept one side without looking at the other as of the argument, and all four about it in order to really draw an intellectual conclusion. So if I hear that, let me see if I can think of this situation. For instance, an altercation. We get to a physical altercation, but therefore, I tell my side of the story. I look banged up, and therefore, people just relate to me since I'm the loser of it. Oh, Eric is so wrong for that. He should have did that. It should have went that far. Instead of sitting there saying, "Well, hey, man, look, he started it, or it started based on this, this situation that involved both of us. So happens that I came out the victor in it."
I think it would kind of depend on who provoked the decision. You walked up on me and provoked it, and you end up looking like a jackass.
Yeah, but we live in a world to where since off as the weaker person, people would then add a little bit more than you. In the end, they'll be like, "Oh, you're bigger. You're this. You have size. Of you should have used that. You shouldn't have did." It will come off that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. He came at me. What you telling? But this is what we live in, is that we're only willing to see one side we only relate to. So then when we get into this, when it comes to any situation with police officers and or bystanders or victims or whatever you want to call them, when a black dude does get gunned down and it's or appears as something that is done incorrectly on the officer's side, the fact that we feel that some of these officers are infallible into mistakes, or they're human when we want to try to defend them, I'm only going to relate to the officer because I don't know. But then you got to ask the question, well, what situation caused it? We never asked the double say, well, we don't know what caused them to have to pull this gun. Yeah, you're right. What caused them to have to want to pull this gun. We got, but we never do.
Yeah. Oh man, he shouldn't have done that. Why the fuck did it happen?
Yeah. So,
it doesn't negate from him the fact that he did it. Doesn't stop the fact that
but it's like the question that always comes up is because I always say, well, he shouldn't have resisted. Just cause a death sentence. Is the penalty to be shot? The answer to that question in most cases probably would be no. So it's that, and it's funny because I think that's where it comes where, like I said, I bring it back to relatability, is the fact that I already attribute most of these people to wrongdoing anyway. So I would say that close to it, but I would say that how do I want to put it? Hey, I lost my train of thought. But hey, anyways, but it's those questions that we don't really ask ourselves. We don't ask the complete question. We only ask the part that we feel would, get our point across.
I'll elaborate since he lost his train of
Closing
thought.
argument solution.
Okay, so like he was saying, a lot of people tend to take one side. They don't look at two sides. They look at one side. So if I am pro Black Lives Matter, I must be anti-police. If I am pro police, I must be anti pro Black Lives Matter. When that's not true. But looking at these comments, there's a story at a local news channel in Beaumont, and they posted a story of one of the victims, who was at the protest, and she tells her side of the story. She tells her horrors, and instead of people humanizing her, they want to ask her, well, now what does she think about the police while she was there protesting them? She was shot at just like the officers who helped save her and her son's life. She thanked the policemen who saved her life. She cried for the ones who lost theirs. Yet people still want to take just one side. They still want to believe in their head, and it's mostly because of the rhetoric that goes around social media. That Black Lives Matter are anti-police. They are pro-violence. We are all of these things that these people who associate with us say that they do not associate with us. They read a headline here, read a headline there, skip through, find a couple little circumstantial facts, and then they form their own opinion. And they tell you that their opinion is fact. Now you got all of these people, instead of empathizing with these people who were shot at along with the police, you still find a way to blame the victim for the other people's death. They were all there together. The police were there with them. Yet you still blame a woman and her child for attending a protest that was peaceful. That was not anti-police, but anti-police brutality. You still blame the Black person. Interesting.
All right. What do you got to say, finally? Here?
All I gotta say is, my lady, I'm sorry for calling you preachy. You're awesome in my book, and I love you.
Yeah, you better.
Sounds forced. Oh, yeah, shit. But anyways,
Shut your ass up.
one thing I would say at the end is that we have to honestly fix the relationships that we have with both sides. And like I said, because after speaking to the officer even earlier today, the perception of the police only being there to fuck my shit up does weigh in. And on the other side, the fact that, these people are always causing situations does weigh in as well. Due to the fact that we are human, we need to accept that. Since we are human, sometimes our perception does come into play, because in the end, our perception becomes our reality. But we need to also be willing to look past what we think is true and be working towards what this actual situation presents. Or working towards the actual truth. So even like I weighed in last time, it's like we on both sides need to actually try to fix the relationship that's currently being brought up, because in the end, and of course, like I said, the conspiracy theorist in me comes in again. If we don't, then there's already a law in the state that the president can initiate martial law if they find it necessary.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to get to that point. We don't want to get to the point to where now the military is coming into play and the Constitution is suspended. So it is up to us in the community and the people who want, the ones that do call themselves activists, to be able to sit there and say, all right, look, bro, we understand the situation. This needs to be fixed. And the ones that do bad, you need to go ahead and put those dudes out pronto. They don't need to be given passes. They need to say, hey, look, if you even come off as that's the reason, then you don't belong in this area. You don't belong here. We don't want you here because we don't need you, if that's your mindset.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I would say. You know, it's going to require some work. It can't get fixed overnight, but as long as we're willing to actually work towards a potential solution, then I think things can, in theory, become better. So, anybody else?
And I think to clarify on a point that you made earlier, I think that for some people, they believe that their perception is their reality, but the reality is separate from what they perceive. So, I mean, and there's no way around it. I mean, it's just what you believe to be the case is actually going to be what you think actually it is. So, I think I agree with you that there needs to be some more communication on these topics that seemingly up to this point that it's built to the point of where this event had happened, the shootout had sort of happened. So it's forcing us into having these kind of conversations right now, and it's why it's such a hot button topic for everybody. I mean, the only thing that I would just hope from it is just that nobody just dismiss it. I mean, this has been going on for years, so I just hope that from this event that had occurred, that we actually build something constructive to just move on from that.
Yeah, I feel you. I hope so too, but in all reality,
I mean, the hope for humanity is very, very slim, unfortunately. But
we're gonna kill ourselves before Jesus come back.
But it is one of those things, like, for our intellects out there and the people who are willing to actually look outside themselves for answers, they would be willing to kind of say, okay, look, we know this is a situation, we need to work towards a solution, because in the end, we're all in the same boat, if we want to realize it or not.
But then you got people like our lieutenant governor of Texas.
We don't talk about those guys. Those guys should not receive any type of attention whatsoever.
They
will receive attention, just not now.
That man is an idiot. Idiot. I said it.
Well, with that in mind, we're going to bring this to a close, everybody. Thank you.
So it's another episode from the Critical Dome, man.
Anything you got to say, little Missy?
No, we're gonna.
I enjoyed it.
Hey, man, we're gonna try to get this again. We're gonna. I understand it's bootleg, but we're gonna get it how we can, man. But y'all be easy and remember, love each other, man. Y'all be out.
Well, no.